Hello, it is I, Dr. Brian Lorgon 111, and welcome to little Coda that I wanted to tack on to Stardew Valley. It's about a month since I recorded the last video, and since then, I decided to play the game again, and to try hard and see how quickly I could get perfection done. And so you may notice that on Sheets Farm it took me 104 hours, and day 25 fall of year 3. And here we are with only 71 hours and day 15, fall of year 2. It's about 2/3 as much time. But if I go ahead and enter this world, you feel it in your heart, somewhere, somehow, Grandpa's beaming with pride. So I managed to get perfection a whole lot faster this time through. And you can see I did it without cheats this time as well. A rumbling sound was heard in the distance, which meant in order to get all of the star drops, all 7 star drops, I had to get married because you only get the 7th one from your 12 heart companion. And so I ended up marrying Abigail because I married Penny in a previous playthrough, and I'm currently watching some other people play through, and one of them married Haley and one of them married Leah, and I really don't like Emily, so I decided to marry Abigail. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly kind of like show off the farm in this world and what I had done. And so here's the farm as it looks right now. Look at all the golden parrots. Or golden parrots? I don't know, parrots. The parrots. There they are. I've got 7 crystallariums that I was using to make jade pretty much the whole time that I could use for staircases to get deep in the skull cavern. Does it show me? Yeah, I've gotten down to floor 194 in the skull cavern, which is pretty deep. That's probably using like 100 staircases in a day and then also kind of like going down on my own, but you can get a lot of good resources doing that. When you get down deep, there's lots of iridium and good stuff, and so I've sold like tons and tons of iridium ore. I did buy perfection waivers, and so if we take a look at my collections, I never had a chicken that laid white eggs, so I never managed to finish that. I'm not even sure what that item is. I didn't get that. And I never got the key quest, because I've only had a few of them, for the radioactive ore and radioactive bars, so I wasn't able to complete that. I did catch all the fish. My final fish was a Dorado in the second summer, because I'd forgotten to catch it in the first summer. But starting in the first summer, like I caught all the legendary fish pretty much as soon as I could, and started getting them going with fish ponds to get roe because it's worth so much. And so you can see I have lots of fish ponds where I've got mostly legendary fish. You can see there's stingrays up there. If you look on these signs, it shows you what's in each of the fish ponds. But then once I finally got the key quests unlocked, I caught all of the second legendary fishes. And I also have a pot that I had with clams over here, and before I had the stingray pond that also had clams in it. Because these guys occasionally produce seaweed, and seaweed's kind of hard to get, and you need it for more fish ponds, and the fish ponds are super valuable. I have lots and lots of pigs, and I have the botanist profession, which means that every time I pick up a foraged item, it's always the highest quality, which means that the truffles are always iridium quality, which is almost as much as truffle oil, which basically means I can just sell those truffles directly and never worry about truffle oil, which is pretty handy. I have a lot of space on the farm that I never used. I did create a couple of sheds that are, of course, filled with kegs, and you've already seen some kegs and preserved jars down there. But with the kegs this time around, rather than all ancient fruit, I used lots of star fruit. It didn't really occur to me until towards later in the playthrough. Like, it is still the case that I have ancient fruit pretty much growing all over on the island. Starfruit wine is worth more than ancient fruit wine. Starfruit has a disadvantage that you have to buy the seeds, and they're 400 apiece, and you have to replant them every 13 days after they grow. And so that's why I don't normally go into starfruit. Ancient fruit takes longer to like get going, but then after you throw all the seeds in the seed maker, it just keeps producing fruit every 7 days. And so in the long run, ancient fruit is good, but given how quickly this goes, starfruit, like going all in on starfruit would have been a better idea in order to kind of complete the quest more quickly. But in any case, I just wanted to kind of like talk about the calendar, and how my kind of progression went, and I think it'll be easier to like look at a calendar. In spring, it was pretty much like my previous playthrough. I went hard into fishing at the beginning to get money, and I also chose to pass out like almost every night. If you get a level up, and in the first, I don't know, most of the first days, like all of spring, you'll be getting level ups in one of your skills. If you get a level up, when you go to sleep at night, even if you go to sleep very late, which normally means you wake up with less energy, if you leveled up, you get all of your energy back. So basically, every time I was going to level up, I passed out, and I tried to always spend my money down to 0, so it wouldn't cost me any money for passing out and having like Linus or Marlin or someone rescue me. And so that was really valuable in spring to get things off the ground. In summer, I went into the mines and farmed dust sprites, lots and lots, to get lots of coal, but also to unlock the burglar ring, which is the reward for killing 250 dust sprites, or however many dust sprites it is you need in order to get the monster rewards. The burglar ring means every monster you kill has a chance to give you 2 drops, like it rolls twice for its drop chances, which is very valuable. And so after I did that, I farmed bugs to get my first ancient fruit seed in the mines. And so I managed to get that in summer, and so I got the ancient fruit going pretty early in this playthrough. And then, yeah, imagine, well, it is fall, but it's fall of year 2. Imagine this is fall of year 1. On the 11th, I got all of my skills up to level 10. I think combat was my last skill that I managed to get up to level 10. A week later, I managed to get enough experience to get my first mastery, and so I got farming mastery. And less than a week later, I got my second mastery, which was foraging mastery. When I got the farming mastery, by the way, I immediately built the statue, because I had made sure I collected more than 333 moss that I needed to build that thing, because it's very useful. And I actually have a screenshot of the farm at the end of fall of year 1 that I will edit into the videos, so you can see just kind of what my farm looked like a year ago. And a lot of time on the farm, like, I didn't care where I was building structures, because you can always move them around with Robin later on. And so the orientation of things changed a lot. I went to Robin and kind of like moved things around on my farm many, many times during the whole course of the playthrough. In any case, back to the calendar, assume that this is winter now. On the 6th of winter, I got my mining mastery, and I built the mining dwarf king statue or whatever that gives you the daily boon, which is also very useful. On that day, I also repaired the boat so that I would be able to go to Ginger Island for the first time. And on the 7th of winter, I made it to level 100 of the Skull Caverns for the first time. Then, about a week and a half later, on the 18th, I got my 4th mastery. I chose fishing mastery, but in retrospect, I think combat mastery would have been more useful. I'd kind of slept on the trinkets. The trinkets are actually pretty useful. And so I think I would have rather had the combat mastery first. Because fishing, I didn't do a whole lot of fishing other than legendary fish stuff after that. On the 22nd of the winter of the first year, I made my first $1 million. And by the end of the year, I was up to 1.59 million total earnings. Because I guess at that point, like, I had a lot of starfruit that were going in the greenhouse and a bunch of wines that were coming through. So that was really good. And I was also starting to produce legendary fish roe by the winter for sure. Because by then I would have had, I guess, 4 of the 5 legendary fishes already. The only one I hadn't caught yet was Legend, which you have to catch in spring on a rainy day, which is what I did on the 4th of spring, which always rains. I caught the last of the legendary fishes, and in spring of year 2, on the 8th, I got my 5th mastery, combat mastery, so at that point, experience was no longer necessary. I'd leveled everything up. A few days later, I finished the Joja bundle to unlock the movie theater, but I never went and saw a movie. Let's see. On the 22nd of spring, I went through the key door after collecting 100 golden walnuts. I don't remember if I actually collected them. I ended up paying for the last golden walnuts, but I think I might have already had 100 at that point. I think there's like 130 total that you can gather. But I paid for some of the last few just because I didn't feel like doing scrounging up some of the last golden walnuts, and I wanted to get things moving very quickly. On spring 23rd, after a storm finally came, I got a bunch of batteries to make iridium sprinklers to finish being able to water all of Ginger Island. Something I didn't realize is I basically was just using the good sprinklers but not the iridium sprinklers. I didn't realize how important batteries were going to be back in the previous summer. I should have made more lightning rods. But also, I didn't realize that Krobus every Friday will sell an iridium sprinkler for 10,000. And by this spring, like, I was walking around with like $3 million like in my pocket. I could have bought a bunch of iridium sprinklers from Krobus, but I didn't realize it because it was only after this playthrough that I realized that that was a thing. Oops. On the 24th, I finished a Hungry Key quest, diving 100 levels without any food or drink. I talked about sleeping on the trinkets. I had a fairy trinket that heals you every few seconds in battle, and that was very useful for getting through that quest easily. In the summer of year 2, on the 9th, I caught the final fish, the Dorado. On the 12th and 13th, I started crafting and shipping all the items to try to fill out those collections, and started realizing some things that I was missing. I took another screenshot of the farm on the 14th of summer of the second year, so I'll go ahead and show you that screenshot. And you can see I was growing tons of star fruit in the summer because star fruit was basically the most valuable thing, and I was just trying to make as much money as possible so that I would be able to buy the perfection waivers to get out of the last few % of getting perfection. On summer 15 and 16, the key quest had come around with the new legendary fishes, so I caught all 5 of them on those 2 days. I also proposed to Abigail so I could get my final star drop. And I went ahead and also bought 10 perfection waivers because I had $5.8 million sitting in my pocket. And I knew I was going to need a bunch of perfection waivers, and they're 500,000 apiece. And yeah, and then I just kept making money on fall 13. So basically a couple days ago in real time, fall of year 2. I guess it was Abigail's birthday. I don't think I gave her a gift. I reached 10 million in total earnings. And on the 14th, I bought more perfection waivers. I've bought 17 perfection waivers because I had 83% actually completed towards perfection. And the other 17% were all perfection waivers that I bought. And I thought I was going to need 18%. And so I actually am sitting on like 500,000 more money than I thought I needed. And then today I woke up and we've achieved perfection. Yeah. And so basically, yeah, I was able to do things like 2/3 as much time or whatever, calendar time, and roughly wall clock time as well. And so I was happy with that outcome. There's a bunch of things that I still could have done better, but I was just enjoying the game, and I was watching other people play, and they gave me a couple other ideas. One of the other ideas that I saw other people do that I had not done myself previously that I think is a good strategy, I'll go show you up here, is to use the railroad as a tree farm. Although in retrospect, again, I chose the standard farm, which has lots of space, and so I could have fit the tree farm in the bottom left of my own farm area. I just thought eventually I'd be expanding more crops. But basically, you can plant trees up here, and so I planted lots of trees up here, and this is where all my oak resin for my kegs was coming from. And I have tons of maple syrup that I basically just have sold because I haven't really done anything with it. I do have some honey stuff that's set up around a single flower on the farm, but honey is not a big way to earn a whole lot of money, really. I've been wearing the pan on my head for forever, and it looks silly. I'm gonna take it off, but just for the extra inventory space. But yeah, down here, you might have missed it earlier, but basically I just made some bee houses or whatever that harvest honey around. I guess there's a fairy rose that's growing there now, hopefully, or something. Yeah. But in any case, I just wanted to show off that if you try really hard, you can make a ton of money and get perfection a whole lot faster. And this was this is just me doing it on my own with a couple ideas that I saw in a couple other Let's Plays. Like, I'm sure you could find speedruns where people do it, like, you know, at the beginning of year 2 kind of thing, or maybe even sooner, I have no idea. Speedruns in this game are kind of ridiculous, like all kinds of crazy things people do, and if they use glitches, like, you can do even more. Like, I wasn't using any cheats, I wasn't using any glitches, I wasn't using any mods, I was just, you know, playing the game, but playing the game with a lot of strategy to try to do things as fast as possible. Just because I thought it'd be fun. But I did it on my own. I earned, hey, 11 million, near, you know, most of the way through year 2. So 11, Lorgun 111, makes perfect sense. That's all I really just wanted to show off. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, really. I just wanted to say I enjoyed the game so much. I played it again, and yeah, put like another, not quite 100 hours in it probably, but a lot of time into this playthrough, just to try hard and see how fast I could get perfection once again. So, I guess that's it. I hope as always that you all are having a great day, and I will see you again soon for something else. For now, bye-bye.